Prince Andrew, bad PR for a fading brand. Here's the story. According to the New York Times, King Charles III has moved to, and I'm silly using a title like King, but more about that in a moment. He has moved to strip Prince Andrew's style, titles, and honors, saying he will now be known as Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor, and evicting him from Royal Lodge to a smaller home in Sandringham. The palace said, quote, "These censures are deemed necessary," citing serious lapses of judgment tied to the Jeffrey Epstein scandal. Let's add context. Monarchies today are mostly marketing machines built on an old premise of divine selection. And let me translate that in simple terms. It means, first of all, you believe in an all-powerful God, and you believe in a God who says, all the things to do, I'm going to pick a leader for a country, and I'm going to pick the absolute best, most brilliant person and family to rule in my name over people in a country. That's what divine selection is about. Now, if you don't buy that premise, titles are basically nonsense. They're branding. It's not legitimacy. By that standard, Andrew isn't a statesman. He's merely a spokesperson for the British brand, and it's a failed one. He's a failed spokesperson. In a modern democracy, you don't fix a reputational crisis by shuffling titles and honorifics. You fire the spokesperson. Keep the accountability. Skip the theater. As the Times notes, this is the sharpest royal demotion since Edward VIII, less about sacred lineage, more about damage control for a struggling institution. What's the real message here? Yes, shame on the former Prince Andrew for spending all of his time fooling around with Epstein and little girls. But the real shame is on you and me pretending that there is such a thing as princes and kings in the modern world. It's all just made up stuff. It's just a figment of people's imagination. There is no God above picking out leaders to rule in his name in societies and countries and say, oh, Prince Charles or Prince Edward, they're my guy to rule. It's complete nonsense. It's as nonsensical as me telling you, from now on, you will refer to me as Lord TJ, master of the universe, who has the greatest, curliest, thickest hair in the world. If I told you to refer to me with that title and you said, TJ, that's insane, you're really stupid, you would be absolutely right. Okay, let's dig a little bit deeper. I understand why the United Kingdom keeps up their monarchy. They don't have real power, but they are great for generating publicity. The United Kingdom and London and Buckingham Palace generates so much money for this country from tourism. So many people, little girls, little boys, that read fairy tales about queens and kings and princes and princesses, and wow, they still have them. Let's go see it. So they get a lot of publicity, and it generates tremendous amounts of tourism. I've seen various accounts that says if you factor in all the money spent supporting these welfare recipients, which is really what Prince Charles and Prince Andrew are, they're welfare recipients. They live in government housing. If you add up all the money you spend, but you look at the return on investment when it comes to increased tourism, they're a great deal. I mean, let's face it, here in the United States, all sorts of states, cities put together advertising campaigns and they promote it around the world or in different markets trying to attract tourism. And England doesn't have to do that much. They just get constant reams of publicity for whatever their king or queen or princesses are doing. They like it to be positive publicity. And when so much of the publicity about Prince Andrew is about his the alleged rape he committed with one of the children that Jeffrey Epstein recruited, that's not good publicity. No one's really saying, hey, let's fly to England this summer, spend our summer vacation there, and go to the house of that pedophile. That's not really attracting a lot of extra customers and consumers and spenders. So it's pretty sad that we even have this situation. Now, sorry to sound grumpy today, but this is something that really sticks in my craw. I understand if you are a British citizen, say, okay, it's my country, it's my tradition. We have this tradition of our kings and our queens and our monarchy, and yet we have our parliament. It's all a part of this. Okay, you get a pass on it. But what I don't get is why Americans fall all over themselves, whether it's meeting Princess Di or Prince or King Charles. Why should American media even use these titles? It's just made up stuff based on faulty premises. Shame on me for even talking about King Charles. He's Charlie to me and you. Sorry. Or, Mr. Windsor, whatever his last name is. But the idea that someone deserves respect because they've been able to spin a yarn that somehow they or their ancestors were selected by God to rule over people. I hate to tell you, my fellow Americans, that's why we revolted. That's why there was a revolution in 1776. We as a society decided that's complete BS. We're not buying into it. We don't buy into this idea that any one person has been selected by any invisible deity to rule over others. So it also sticks in my cruel that anybody, and I mean anybody, would ever tune into a show that, Prince Harry or his wife, in a sane, rational world, someone like Prince Harry would be an assistant manager at a Chevrolet car dealership, making $49,000 a year. I'm not saying he's an awful person. He certainly doesn't seem to be at the level of Prince Andrew, but why anyone thinks he deserves honors or titles, or what we need to breathlessly follow their every move, is an absolute absurdity in my view.